it's our eye on tech because it's Friday, and we're looking at renewable energy, particularly solar energy. We all know the big, beautiful bill in the United States that just passed, about to be signed any moment by U.S. President Trump. Is a public holiday in the United States. But, you know, renewable energy credits have been removed. Still, has the advantage been given to China? The New York Times has an article, there it is. There's a race to power the future. China is pulling away. And they got some charts in that article that show how far ahead China is when it comes to funding renewable energy. Case in point, solar panels and modules, $40 billion on the Chinese side. I think this is fiscal year 2024 or 2023, of which $20 billion to Europe, $11 billion to Asia, and then the rest, of course, to the Americas. You can see the United States, just $69 million. I mean, that is a gargantuan gap. 40 billion versus not even up to 70 million. Now, of course, let's bring it home to players in the renewable energy space. Amin Idris is the founder of Interface Africa, and they, of course, are on a mission to power rural homes in Nigeria with solar energy. Thank you so much for joining the show. Great to have you. And of course, we met at the Afri-Exim Bank annual meetings in Abuja. So great to see so many people across different sectors. So it's good to have you on the show. Where do you get your solar equipment from? Let's start with that. Is it from China? Does Interface Africa get its solar equipment from China?
Thank you so much, Mr. Roches, for having me. Yes, absolutely. Even when you talk to OEMs across board, you see always the shipment comes from China. When you talk to Europeans and North Americans and other sources of solar technologies, they are always shipping from China as well. So it's just like the case of Apple in America, where it's designed in California but assembled and shipped from China. So it's the same case here we see because of the low cost, because of the low tariffs as well, because of the government incentive China provides for its manufacturers.
Any worries on quality? I mean, you know, for people who have bought inverter batteries for solar panels and talk about, you know, fakes being shipped in, have you had any issues or any reason to have to question the quality of the solar material that you're getting from the Chinese?
Yeah, like the world over, particularly in China, things are tiered. You know, there's the tier 1, tier 2, tier 3, depending on the quality and you want to access and what you want to serve here. Of course, affordability is a challenge, but it's a heavily subsidized industry, even locally here, with the help of agencies like the REA and their programs with the World Bank. It has to it keeps the cost down here in the downstream area. So yes, quality might be a challenge, but when you look at the incentives towards going for higher quality, Lightning Global, World Bank certified equipment, players here in the downstream are more incentivized to go for the more higher quality Lightning Global certified products.
All right, so there's,
that's what we optimize for.
Yeah. Okay, so affordability though, I mean, affordability of renewable energy has, you know, it's been an issue. There's even, I can't mention names. I don't want our sales team to send me an invoice, but there's a bank that advertises on our network, and the bank is, the ad is directly aimed at potential customers of solar energy. I think it's a very clever ad because it starts with a guy in an office, the lights go out, and then the generator doesn't have any fuel, and then the lady comes and tells him, hey, listen, why don't you get solar energy? He says it's very expensive, and then the bank says, okay, we're offering loans for solar energy. So but then that's in an urban setting, right? So the setting is an urban setting in Nigeria. You're in the rural space, so how are you solving for costs? For the high upfront costs?
So at the nerve center of our operations is data. We are data driven, and we are a data company first and foremost before anything else. So what we provide is we provide data on consumers to different service providers in the solar space in Nigeria, be it the service providers, the developers, the financiers, or the government enablers like the REA. And through that data, we are able to de-risk their engagement with people in last mile underserved communities. So the case you gave is a wonderful one. The affordability issue has been at the forefront of the solar conversation at the clean energy space at large. It's way more affordable than the fossil alternative, just that the huge upfront cost is what makes it seem like not attainable for most people. But when people get to spread out that cost through loans, it then becomes more attainable, or even through power as a service or energy as a service, which is ease. So that ability to break down the cost to daily, weekly, monthly, or even seasonal payments is what really gets more people on board. So for petty traders, they do daily or weekly payments because that's how their money comes in. For government employees, they do monthly payment because they are salaried and you do salary deductions. For farmers that make their money at bulk at the end of the season during harvest, you can make your money through crop for energy exchange and all. So that ability to look at the data, know what's the income level of this person, what's the income pattern of this person, it makes it easy to sell. Because Nigerians currently spend at least 10 times what they spend on off-grid energy, on on-grid energy, on off-grid energy. So last year we spent about $2 billion on grid, and about 20 billion went to off-grid, from maintenance to fueling and all that. So it's not an issue of affordability, rather an issue of mismatch between what's available and how do we price it and get it across to people.
Great
and
point.
That's where interface comes in.
Great point. You mentioned the Rural Electrification Agency, and I do remember it was either yesterday or the day before, we had a live broadcast featuring the Rural Electrification Agency. I think they were in Zamfara State. Can you speak to the work that they're doing and how, I guess, they're partnering with entities like yours to provide solar and renewable energy to communities in the rural areas?
Otis, I'll have to be quite biased here because we consider ourselves an REA baby. Right from the onset, they have been very, very supportive. We've got quite some grants from them as well to help us push towards energy adoption, especially in rural communities. Well, that's exactly what we are talking about. We need that harmonization between the national, subnational, private sector players and also the private sector players and the development partners as well. And that's what we are seeing with this new leadership of the REA. We have long been operating in silos from the upstream, midstream, downstream of the sector. You have the miners doing the lithium mining in places like Nasarawa, then export and processing. And then now we have the local players like Naseni trying to put into together local content industrialization of the space. Materials we can source in locally here, why should we be importing them, or even in some cases CKD? But it's a gradual process whereby we see, okay, we are doing 100% import here, but how can we at least reduce it to 80% and then 60-40 over time to say, okay, we can source for these components locally. How can we keep that additionality component in-house? So with that REA engagement, and I've seen that across board for different states like Jigawa and Kano, the REA has been very handshaking in its approach to engaging the subnational, and I think that's exactly what's needed to coordinate the efforts of all these different players as a market enabler.
Fantastic. I mean, that's how it's supposed to work. It's good to hear testimonies from entities like yours about support from the Rural Electrification Agency and the work that they're doing to try to provide power to these rural areas. Look, it's been great speaking with you. We've got to get you back on the show. There's so much going on in the renewable energy space. So I will look forward to having you back on the show. Amin Idris, founder of Interface Africa. Thank you so much for your time joining us there from our Abuja studios. That's going to do it for the Global Business Report. Do stay tuned to Arise News. From all of us, thank you so much for watching. Thanks for your company. I'm Rotu Sudiri. We'll be back at 4 p.m., but between now and then, Newsday is up next. So do stay tuned to the award-winning Standout Arise News channel.